Hello, I am back. Now, if there's one thing you know about me, it's probably that I post random animations from time to time, or that I love putting random, useless challenges on myself to make myself suffer. Jokes aside, if you've been around since the resurgence in uploads, you might know of my love for the Kirby franchise. As I said before, if you've been around since the beginning of my resurgence, then you would know of my analysis of Kirby Superstar Ultra's True Arena mode. And frankly, I still hold that video in high regard, even if it is extremely primitive. That video hit pretty hard, at least view-wise. So much so that I started uploading content weekly, and the rest is history. Kirby as a franchise is very important to me, and I have a ton of merchandise of the various characters in the games. Not only that, I have a lot of physical cartridges of the games, and I've made it my goal to get a copy of every Kirby game on physical hardware. This might not be my most dedicated collection. You should see my insane collection of Jolteon merchandise, just to know how dedicated I am to something. But that's not the topic of this video. But do you know what is? Kirby's Dream Land for the original Game Boy. Now, this game. Oh, this game. I have so many mixed feelings for this game in particular. I first played it on the Masterpieces mode of Smash 4, and I didn't particularly grasp much besides Kirby doesn't have copy abilities. I was only able to play the game in full recently, once through NSO, and well, I used to have a physical copy of the game, but I lost it in 2024. But I did get to play it and beat it on both modes, and I was left feeling satisfied, but confused. Confused because, if I'm being honest, I didn't know whether I liked it or thought it was just mediocre. So this video will go over as much as I know or could find in this game, or just kind of an overall look at this game as a whole. At least from my time spent in it. So, welcome to the first part in a potential multi-part series going over every single Kirby game ever. The handheld in the title is going to be irrelevant the second I hit adventure, but who cares? I don't! Also, I feel like it might be important to mention that the script to this point has been before I actually replayed the game, so I'm coming in with an almost fresh opinion. Also, it would mean a lot if you liked and subscribed. Thanks! But before we get into the game, I think a small history lesson is in order, because this game has some sort of backing to it. Kirby was originally a dummy character and was used before more detailed sprites were created. The devs came to like this dummy, and so Popopo was born. If it hasn't already been nailed into your brain, Popopo was the original name for Kirby, before he was, well, named Kirby, sharing the same name with defense attorney John Kirby, who saved Nintendo from a lawsuit. Honestly, I'm glad this was changed because Popopo doesn't quite have the ring that Kirby has. While in this Popopo era, the first game in the series was supposed to be called Popopo of the Spring Breeze. And from what I could find, that was the earliest name of the game. Something I do find quite funny is that in Kirby Superstar, the mode that is a remake of Kirby's Dream Land is called Spring Breeze. So it's kind of like a full circle moment. The name would change over the course of time, and eventually it landed on, apologies if I butcher this, Hoshino Kirby, which, when translated, means Kirby of the Stars. In America, the name would be changed to what people know most, Kirby's Dream Land, and the rest is, well, history. Getting into the game, I'm greeted with a title screen, and all I have to say is that it's really charming. I love all the little Kirbys moving at the bottom of the screen. It sets the tone of the game very well, in my opinion. The story is really simple. King Dedede has stolen all the food, and Kirby needs to get it back. Honestly, really great story. I love the simplicity here. It's funny looking back on this story because of how complex the later games would be with their stories. But that's a topic for another day. So, I started the game, and we are in green greens. And the charm is still there, with these little beginning level cutscenes. But unfortunately, I don't really have much to say about them besides that they're just really short and charming. So, honestly, that's only a positive. It was a bit of a learning curve for me to get used to the puff being regulated to up on the D-pad. But that's really more of a skill issue than fault of the game. Soon, Kirby hops onto a warp star and has to fight the first mini-boss of the game. This boss is Poppy Bros Sr., and he throws bombs that you spit back at him. He goes down easily, and we press forward. Next room is mostly just a bland enemy killing area, and then we make it to the first boss of any Kirby game, Wispy Woods. Now, I don't need to be the first person to tell you this, but he's easy. Like, dodge the wind and spit the apples back at him to win. Also, fun fact, I didn't know this before going into the game. If you run into him, you take 2 damage, which I don't even know why. Moving on to World 2, we get Lololo's Castle. And we get a nice world with a nice song. The mic is introduced here, which I fumbled to use, but it's the dedicated screen wipe attack, nothing more to say there. We also get introduced to the invisibility candy, which makes you invincible. Shocker. In my opinion, I think it's kind of mid overall, but guess you can't go wrong with invincibility, am I right? But do you know what isn't meh? The ultra spicy curry, which is easily my favorite power in the game. I kind of just like this one, mainly because the fireballs feel more effective than the other weapon in this game. They're equivalent to stars, if you were curious. It also plays this banger track, which just take a listen. Oh yeah, there's also a boss against Lololo, which goes off without a hitch. After exploring the castle, the next boss arrives, and it's between Lololo and LOLLL. And they are very easy, even if I did die like an idiot. I feel like it's really weird to fight them without a copy ability though. World 3 is by far the shortest world, only taking me 3 minutes and 30 seconds to beat, and I love the music here. Sorry to do this again, but here's another snippet. This world is overall very good in my opinion. I love how you get to use the ultra spicy curry and mic. It's very simple and I like it. I also found out that the spicy curry actually goes out when you go into water, which is cool, unless I'm wrong and it was perfectly timed. Before the boss, we get given the mint leaf, which is the last power-up in this game. It's pretty much just the aerial version of the ultra spicy curry, but I just like it less for no particular reason. But something that is cool about the mint leaf is the way it changes the next boss, Kabula. She's pretty fun to fight, and it's just a shoot 'em up style boss fight, which is actually pretty cool. And that's all I really have to say. I first tried sniped her out of the air, and I'm out of here. So let's get to... Bubbly Clouds is easily my favorite world in the game, no debate. I love this world, and it's pretty fun and challenging. And the mini-boss, against KRACKO Jr., is pretty good in my opinion. I just have KRACKO bias, I guess. This world also easily has the most enemy variety in the game, introducing a bunch of new things, and honestly, good things as well. Here's a fun bug, or at least I think it's a bug. When you pick up the mint leaf power-up and let it run out, you'll keep the speed boost until you stop puffing, which is pretty neat. Continuing on, I take another death by getting scoped by this stupid fucking umbrella. Fuck this umbrella in specific. Oh yeah, also, if you're starving for lives, you can enter this moon and get a few extra lives, and also a full HP restore for the boss. This becomes a very common occurrence in many other Kirby games, so it's nice to see it here. Finally, the boss, and it's KRACKO. I love this cloud so much for no particular reason. His design is just stuck in my brain, so it's always nice to see him. And so far, he is my favorite boss. It's just really fun to fight. What can I say? Here's another fact. If you closely zoom in, you can see a white outline around KRACKO Jr.'s eye. Is this useful? No. Do I care? Not in the slightest. And finally, Mount Dedede. Opening with the hardest song in the game. Holy crap, this slaps. Sorry to do this again, but come on, you have to listen to this. This goes hard. After entering into the castle, you have all the bosses, and now it's time to beat them again. But before that, you have some short levels, which are fine, a bit bland, but passable. But like, why are you collecting these random Kirbys? I never really understood that. But whatever. KRACKO sent me to hell, and I died to Lololo and LOLLL, like the fucking worthless, homeless Eevee that I am.
Please, sir, spare some money. I'm hungry, please.
And then KRACKO, like, shoots me dead. Rest in peace, Carboing. You won't be missed. Anyways, after beating that boss rush, we're faced with King Dedede, and he's definitely the hardest boss in the game. He has a lot of HP and some unpredictable moves. If you want to play it safe, I recommend mostly staying puffed in the air and waiting for his big jump attack. You have a chance to get hit, but it's better than just brute forcing it. I was on my last life, and I beat it just barely. So, Kirby stops Dedede and becomes a hot air balloon. And that's the end of Kirby's Dream Land. This is when you unlock Extra Game, and if I'm being honest, it's really just the normal game, but way harder, which isn't surprising. But I really don't want to regurgitate what I said before. There are some funny things, like Poppy Rose Sr. jump scaring you like fucking Foxy, but I don't think that really changes how I feel. So now, let's answer the question that I said at the beginning, and I'm sure that's still on your mind. Is the game any good, or is it just mediocre? If I'm being honest, after finishing it, I'm still conflicted, but I think I can answer. As the first installment to the series, it's a great setup, and I do like it. And for early Game Boy games, I think it's pretty good considering the time it was released, but in retrospect, it's pretty mediocre to average. And if I'm being honest, I would recommend playing it. The game only takes like 30 minutes to beat, so if you do play it, it wouldn't set you that far back, now would it? But what I can say about this game is that it radiates tons of charm. It's such a charming little game. They were able to craft so much personality into this game that, in my opinion, isn't particularly reflected in its sequel. It's kind of weird to say that, but I don't know, it's just a charming game, and if I'm being honest, that's all that matters. Anyways, thank you for watching, my name is Carmen, and I will see you all next time. Have a rotten day.
Find my beat off. Listen to my song and you'll have some fun.
I'm Michael Leon and I said my to the kids.